Pakistan Prime Minister Muhammad Ali smokes a peace pipe with Blackfoot Chief Theodore Last Star, Cut Bank, Montana, 1954, photo by Bert Glynn. Tourists enjoying a picnic at Los Angeles, California alligator farm as a worker gives one of the gators a treat, circa 1920. The funeral of Joseph Stalin. Actors portraying a love scene. Thailand, around 1900. An image of Frederick John Robinson, the earliest British Prime Minister to be photographed, most likely in the early to mid-1850s. Robinson was PM from 1827 to 1828. Arthur Clarence Pillsbury on the hood of a Studebaker 6, about a foot away from the edge at Glacier Point in Yosemite, in 1916. 13 others, on the precipice, can be seen near the vehicle. Children smile out a window as donated Christmas presents are delivered to their home. Detroit, Michigan, 1932. Cairo, when Egypt was an autonomous tributary state of the Ottoman Empire, photo was taken by English photographer and businessman, Francis Frith, circa 1856. Coney Island's Luna Park bumper car attractions. 1920s, New York, U.S. Cleopatra VII was not Egyptian by blood, she was of Macedonian Greek descent. She was also known for her intelligence and reportedly spoke up to 9 languages. Continental DC-7 cabin 1960s. Construction of a railway bridge in Kerch. Finnish peacekeepers drinking milk in Cyprus. Floods in Venice, Italy. Ford Bubble Glass Top Vehicle 1947. Following in the cover of a tank, American infantrymen secure an area on Bougainville, Solomon Islands, after Japanese forces infiltrated their lines during the night in March, 1944. Japanese troops forcing their way into a house in Shanghai, 1937. Have you heard of a mummy board? The mummy board was a wooden cover placed over the deceased inside a larger coffin and painted to reflect what they looked like in life. This one belonged to Eanfrith from the New Kingdom, circa 1279 to 1213 BCE. Late Roman military structure. Jews being airlifted to Israel after being expelled from their home in Yemen, 1949. Napoleon, 1915, by Emil Ludwig. The Battle of Waterloo was fought on June 18, 1815. Never, yet, had any isolated commander been able to say, "I have defeated Napoleon." His activity was undermined by his ailments, and that is why, on the morning of the Battle of Waterloo, he failed to attack promptly. In the middle of June, the sun is above the horizon by 4. But he waits till noon, that he may place his guns better when the ground becomes less sodden. The loss of this half-day is to destroy him. The 2nd Prussian Corps pours a deadly fire on the Guard, which yields ground. The opposing force continues to grow. At 8, the 3rd Army Corps appears on the scene, and 120,000 of the Allies are now attacking half that number of Frenchmen. The battered French army takes to flight, and Bonaparte, in his last hour as a commander, is for the first time in his life commander of a routed army. New Zealand police disperse unemployed demonstrators in Wellington's Cuba Street, May 1932. Huai, the last emperor of Qing dynasty, China. Roman-made ring, 3rd century AD. The inscription on the ring reads, "From a man longing for love." Love is the merging of divided souls in the course of time. Love arises within the soul itself. If love has a visible reason, when that reason disappears, love also ends. Love starts as a joke and ends as a serious matter. Love is full of undefined subtleties, but only the one who is in love understand. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Temporary NYPD headquarters at a Burger King in downtown Manhattan, September 11, 2001. The Highway of Death, located between Kuwait and Iraq. The remains of up to 2,000 Iraqi vehicles were left here after American, Canadian, British and French aircraft and ground forces attacked retreating Iraqi military personnel attempting to leave Kuwait on February 26 to 27, 1991. A U.S. Marine hurls a hand grenade towards a Japanese position on Saipan as a buddy prepares to do the same, June 1944. Life magazine photo. The Ramones in New York City. Fun pictorial map honoring the pioneers of punk rock. Boys outside a temple. Vietnam, 1916. The piers on the East River in New York around 1900, and the scene in 2024. The revolt of 1857 was the conscious beginning of the independent struggle against the colonial tyranny of the British in India. This is an Assyrian plaque of a sphinx dating back to c. 9th to 8th c. BCE. Interestingly, the sphinx is not crouched, but is leaning against the branches of a tree. The stylized leaves are called volutes, and were commonly found on other ivory pieces on elite furniture at Nimrud. Transport of Poles expelled from Stanislaw, now Ukraine, during a stopover in Lagota near Katowice. Over 1.1 million Poles and Polish Jews were expelled from the former Polish territory annexed by USSR after WW2. Lagota, July 1945. A Great Day in Harlem, 1958. Remaining survivors 1996. U.S. warships during the D-Day landings on June 6, 1944. Typist training exam 1960s. U.S. Marine standing in a destroyed building, looking at the ruins of the city of Naha, Okinawa, Battle of Okinawa, on June 13, 1945. Withdrawal of the Soviet Navy from the important Pasha Liman base in Vlora. In March 1961, the Albanians tried to seize Soviet Navy ships stationed in their country, but the sailors resisted and escaped with significant losses. Red Army soldiers relax on the beach with local women. Occupied Danish island of Bornholm. The USSR occupied the island on May 9, 1945 after bombing civilian homes and returned it to Denmark on April 5, 1946.